Hello everybody, this is my UFC 123 prediction picks. I didn't do a video for 122, but it's a good thing I didn't because I totally would have bombed on that event. Not a bad event overall, but just some interesting outcomes. So anyhow, this fight is taking place in Detroit, Michigan. The co-main event and main event are actually pretty exciting. I'm really looking forward to it. There's two fights on this fight card. I'll get to those and the main card, and then for my undercard predictions, I will just add them to the video via text. Anyway, the first fight of the night will be Mark Munoz versus Aaron Simpson. Both these guys are wrestlers. I give the striking edge to Mark Munoz. He's got pretty good hands. These guys are good buddies. You know, they talk about how they'd rather not fight each other. Blah 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 blah. In history, a lot of good friends who have actually fought each other really fight well because they have a lot of respect for each other. So I think I'm gonna go with Mark Munoz. I think he's the younger, more on the rise star right now. I just think he'll win probably by decision. So yeah, I'm picking Mark Munoz by decision. The next fight is Matt Brown versus Brian Foster. Brian Foster was a late replacement for this fight. Matt Brown is hot and cold. Wins, loses, wins, loses. I expect him to come out with a lot of good striking in this fight. I think he will finish Brian Foster by TKO in this fight. So Matt Brown via TKO. Then we got Miguel Falco versus Gerald Harris. Gerald Harris, man, he's a beast. He's got great wrestling, great slams, great striking. Man, this guy could be like the next John Jones, I think. This Falco guy, I don't really know much about him. I didn't really actually go look him up either. So I'm just going to go with Gerald Harris, probably by knockout TKO in this fight as well. So Gerald Harris for that fight. Okay, who we got next? Tim Boetsch versus Phil Davis. Tim Boetsch is another one of those guys. When he first came into the UFC, I think his first two fights he won in like devastating fashion. You're like, wow, this guy is something. And then I think Matt Hamill, took him out, and then he hasn't really done too well, I think, since then. Phil Davis, I think he's had about 3 fights in the UFC now. He's done pretty well. I'm going to go with Phil Davis in this fight via decision. Next we got Joe Lauzon versus George Sotiropoulos. This is a pretty good fight. Both guys got great jiu-jitsu. Lauzon's got decent striking. George's striking, it's coming along, but he's really more well known for his grappling, which is really good. I think Lauzon's grappling is good as well. Maybe not as good as George's, but it might be good enough to avoid getting submitted, I think. I don't see Joe Lauzon getting submitted. I think he's going to try to take George out with strikes. George is going to try to get to the ground as much as possible and grapple his way to a decision. Man. I'm going to go with Sotiropoulos in this fight via decision. I think he's just going to control Joe in more positions on the ground and in the clinch, and I think he will squeak out a decision. I don't see it being a very exciting fight, though. I think it might be a little boring. George will win that fight. So then we got the co-main event, Matt Hughes versus BJ Penn. In Matt Hughes' last fight, he choked out Ricardo Almeida with a wrestling choke, which is very rarely seen in the octagon. As we know, BJ Penn's coming off 2 losses to Frankie Edgar. BJ right now, we don't know where his head's at. He's been known to be a quitter in the past. I don't know about this fight. They've each won 1 fight each. I think Hughes said in an interview that he wants to take BJ down and get him tired. But the thing with this is that BJ, for his last, 8 probably fights, or 6 to 8 fights, he's prepared to fight 5-minute round fights, championship rounds. So this fight, he's only having to fight 3 rounds. And coming off 2 losses, we're going to see what BJ Penn's all about. If he's going to train hard and come in like an animal, or if he's just going to half-ass train like he has in the past and come in and think he'll win on pure talent. If he does that, Matt Hughes will win a decision in this. But with that being said, I think BJ Penn's going to come in ferociously and I think he's going to TKO Matt Hughes in probably the 2nd or 3rd round. So I'm going to go with BJ Penn via TKO over Matt Hughes. now we have the main event. Quinton Rampage Jackson versus Lyoto Machida. This is a good style matchup. We got the heavy-handed wrestling boxer Quinton Jackson, and we got Lyoto Machida, who's very elusive. He brings a karate style. He's got good takedowns. Man, you know, the only way I think Rampage has a chance at winning this fight is if he plants his feet and catches Machida coming in with a hook, because Machida is susceptible to hooks. That's what Shogun caught him with in the last fight to take his title. And I think when you throw straight on, Machida's head's too, he has good head movement, you're not going to catch him. But if you can catch him with a hook, you might do some damage. Machida, on the other hand, he's got, you know, his elusiveness, his mobility, his movement, his agility. It's just a lot for Rampage. Rampage usually fights flat-footed and just throws power shots. So I think Machida, he's going to be a little nervous of getting punched too, because his last fight he got knocked out. So I think he's going to be the Machida we first saw in the UFC, where a lot of people think he's boring, you know, with his elusive striking in and out, this and that, pick apart, score the points. I see Machida winning this fight via decision based on that. Might not be another exciting fight as well, but I think that's what Machida's game plan is going to be. I think Quinton's going to get frustrated, come forward a little much, probably get picked apart with probably leg kicks. I think Machida should look at the tape and implement some leg kicks in this fight, because he's a karate guy, he's got good kicks. But he's just got to avoid that one punch. He just has to avoid one punch. So the odds are in his favor, so I'm going for Machida. So anyhow, thanks for watching, and looking forward to UFC 124, because I will be there. Not too thrilled about that card, but anyhow, thanks a lot. Take care.